Welcome back to the show. And this episode is for you nerds out there. It's all about the original X-Men movies. I'm talking about X1, X2, and X3 Last Stand. Just to preface this, all of these movies were made by terrible people who molested people, okay? Bryan Singer, awful person. Brett Ratner, terrible guy. Both of them, criminals who should be arrested, if not put to death. Okay? Right at the top. I think it's important. If I'm dealing with media and I am actively aware about terrible things people did, that should be known. And so as far as I'm aware, there are a number of producers in these movies, and especially the two directors who made these movies. Terrible, awful, garbage human beings. Don't watch these movies. They're evil. They're corrupted by the inhumane touch of sexual predators, and that's nothing to joke about. That's off the top of the... And, I'm going to continue to talk about these movies, but that doesn't in any way extricate them from the initial sentences of this review, all right? And I'm just going to kind of touch on all three of these movies, and, wow, what a dark way to start the video, just talking about how terrible the people who made all these movies are. It really, it almost taints the entire conversation in a way. But it's also just the case that, you can't not think less of these movies for having these kinds of people involved with it, all right? I personally have no problem letting media go by the wayside because it was made under the condition of evilness. And clearly, all three of these movies have benefited Bryan Singer and Brett Ratner in particular ways that should be admonished, okay? And whatever artistic merit these movies have also does not even reflect the artistic merit of a Bryan Singer or Brett Ratner, right? Because from what I know, Bryan Singer and Brett Ratner were just on drugs the entire time they made these movies. Or at least Bryan Singer was. And can you really give a bunch of credit to a director who is only half conscious and just kind of using the movie as an excuse to be a terrible person? I personally don't see any reason to give any artistic credit to Brett Ratner for the talented work of art departments, stunt people, action coordinators. All I'm saying, and especially if you're someone who watches movies, likes movies, anything like that, if the director is half unconscious the entire shoot, it is, if the movie is good, the credit goes to the amazing craftspeople who took their job seriously, all right? From everything that I've kind of heard about all these X-Men movies, Bryan Singer and Brett Ratner really don't deserve a lot of credit as good directors because they were basically just coasting off the talents of their cast and crew, all right? Don't give them credit. You don't need to. And I won't. So, Brett Ratner and Bryan Singer are garbage people who are talentless hacks that deserve the death penalty. Well, sure, torture them in life for prison, Torture them in prison for life or whatever. Do whatever you want. All I know is they're not good people, and they don't deserve a lot of credit, and they've taken up almost half of my time reviewing these movies, which, for you producers out there, is the problem with hiring a sex pest to be the director of a movie. I could have been 5 minutes into a fun conversation about the X-Men, but I had to talk about the awful people you hired to direct these movies. Shame. For shame. Okay? Now let's get to it. I'll start with X1. The most boring movie out of the whole trilogy. None of the mutants are really at full capacity. They've decided to make Rogue a child, which is a decision I disagree with. The movie starts basically on, well, Rogue tries to kiss somebody, from what I remember, and almost kills him. Kind of like Bryan Singer. Look at that. Rogue tries to kiss somebody, almost kills him, and then she goes on the run. She meets Wolverine, who gets confronted by Sabretooth in a fight that is not long enough. Shame. And then Cyclops and Storm have followed Rogue and Wolverine. And so, turns out Magneto is chasing Rogue, but they think he's chasing Wolverine. Cyclops and Storm bring these two back to Xavier. Magneto is working on turning humans into mutants, or at least like his whole thing is like he turns a senator into like water. Really weird. Is that like a mutation power, or are you just like, is Magneto trying to mutate everyone to become puppets or puddles, big puddles of water? I didn't really understand that. But anyway, so like Magneto uses like some weird magnetic field and he captures Senator Kelly, a guy named Senator Kelly, which a senator with the last name Kelly, who's a man. That's funny. I'm just gonna say it. When I think about who Senator Kelly would be, I imagine it would be some woman named Kelly, but it's actually a senator who's a man with the last name Kelly. And so Senator Kelly gets captured, and then Magneto like magnetizes all the atmosphere around them, and then the guy becomes mutated. You can explain that. Explain that! I can't. I can't explain that. And so now the X-Men in X1 have to stop Magneto from making everybody puddles, which they do at the Empire. They do at the Statue of Liberty. And Magneto tries to capture Rogue, who I remind you again is a child in this movie. They try to capture Rogue and use her instead of Magneto because reasons. I don't really understand the plot of this movie, and the action isn't as cool as the next two movies. So we're moving on to X2, which is dope, and opens with Nightcrawler seemingly trying to assassinate the president. Something all organized by the guy who made Wolverine, the adamantium skeleton man he is today, who is also Logan Roy. All right, and I guess while we're at it, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. I hate Hugh Jackman. I think Hugh Jackman is a what am I going to use here? Butt stick? For some reason, butt stick came to mind, so Hugh Jackman is a major butt stick in my mind. Halle Berry is Storm. Great job, Halle Berry. Cheers. Cheers to Halle Berry. Alan Cumming in the second movie is Nightcrawler. He does a fantastic job. Ian McKellen, thank you. Thank you for correcting me in the comments of the last video. Now I'm certain of it. Ian McKellen is Magneto. Fantastic Magneto. I loved him throughout the whole trilogy, really. I liked all of his performances. Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, obviously. James Marsden as Cyclops, which I wouldn't blame you for not knowing because he's in these he's in these movies very little. I think that's like one of the big problems with like X2 is they really don't know what to do with Cyclops. The whole thing is like very Wolverine centric, which is really cool, but like this is an X-Men movie, And I do think that it's a shame that you don't really, I don't know, I feel like, the first movie has like a pretty good like team dynamic, especially towards the end. But yeah, the next two are really just like, my opinion, like kind of lacking in any kind of like team. Like I don't feel like they're a team. I feel like they're a bunch of just like sort of individual actors doing their own things. But to continue, X2. Oh wow, I only have a minute left. So X2 is considered to be the best. It's awesome. It's fun. You should watch it. The ending's dramatic. Jean almost dies. You think Jean is dead, but she's not. And then in X-Men 3, they kill Cyclops off screen. Cause fuck you. Fuck you, Cyclops, I guess. That's what Brett Ratner wanted you to know. Fuck you, Brett Ratner. Fuck you, Bryan Singer. Honestly, these movies are fantastic, but like I can't. I can't. They're made by monsters. All right, I don't support that. But seriously, Last Stand is like way cooler than I thought it was. I don't know why everyone hates that movie. That's a you problem. You know what I mean? All right, everyone, get out of here. Subscribe, especially if you made it this far. If you ever hear this sound, that's the subscribe sound. That means you should subscribe. Be fair. Be fair to me. All right? If I ended up getting you to listen the whole 10 minutes and you hear this sound, that's the subscribe sound, buddy. All right? I don't say subscribe midway through my fucking videos like a lot of annoying YouTubers will. All right? But if you hear this sound, that means that this worked. Okay? For 10 minutes, you got wrapped up in all the things I was saying. Give me a subscribe, okay? You clearly are interested in my thoughts. Leave me alone now and subscribe.